So thank you all for joining today to talk about MOVI. So we are very, very excited to launch MOVI in Lafayette Market. MOVI is a transportation management platform that actually helps us create smart schedules to be able to accommodate all the transportation needs that you guys have in the cluster. So we've been using MOVI for the last year in our Columbus, Ohio market, and it has been very, very successful to improve the amount of transportations for doctor's appointments that we've done, and also making sure that our outings were scheduled as well and nothing interfered with that. So the little picture here that I have is kind of shows you, how many appointments the cluster has approved, canceled, pending, rejected, stuff like that. So there's a lot of reports that MOVI will be able to give you and Dennis and in home office to kind of see how, the health of the transportation service in your cluster. So the reason why we really like MOVI is because it helps us, again, simplify the scheduling and reduces manual entries as well. So we're just entering that transportation order. That's what they call for a transportation request. And then that goes to the dispatcher who approves or declines that transportation. And then MOVI is AI. So it creates schedules that looking at all the drivers' schedule, who's on PTO, who is not, what buses or vehicles we have available that day. So it really helps the dispatchers and TAs make the most runs with the resources that we have available that day. Also, what is really cool is that the drivers will be able to access their transportation runs for the day on their phone. And it's kind of like Uber. When you pick somebody up, there's a button that says, I'm picking up that resident. So then the system knows that that driver is not available for any other runs until they drop off that resident, when again they click a button and they say, I'm free now. So that way, if a resident is able to be picked up that was already dropped off, could be by a different driver, then MOVI will be able to assign the next available driver to pick up that resident. So that way residents are not just waiting to be picked up for hours or anything like that. So it's pretty nice on that end as well. Again, it automates the process for the staff, not just for the, for Dennis, the dispatcher, the TAs, the nurses entering the information as well. It improves our resident experience. Again, it's easier for our residents to be picked up or dropped off as well. And then also the really cool thing that we have not tried in Columbus, but we do want to try in Lafayette Market, is that we can also request outside transportation using MOVI. So for example, right now, if you have a resident that needs a stretcher, right, to go to a doctor's appointment, somebody at the campus would have to call an outside provider and make that request. Now, with just a few buttons, they're able to make that request through MOVI. So the nurse could make the request, the dispatcher could make the request, whoever is in charge of doing that right now. So again, saves us a lot of time as well. So the program that we're going to be running in Lafayette, so we have the primary campuses, which are the clusters, which is Crazy Springs, St. Mary's, Springs at Lafayette, and Cumberland Point. And then we're calling the other three campuses satellite campuses, and that's Homewood, Crawfordsville, and St. Elizabeth. So all of these campuses will be part of this program, the training, and everything else. So even though the three satellite campuses are not using the cluster on a daily basis, they will still use MOVI every day. So this way also will help us determine, how many transportations are being used by the cluster, and are we able to improve their transportation services by possibly using the cluster a little bit more. So we'll talk more about that as we do trainings and we roll out. Now, the equipment needed, you guys already have all of this. So for the TAs to have their bus phones available, again, like I said, there is a web-based app for MOVI where the TAs will be able to see their runs for the day, so their schedule, and also, check when a resident is picked up or dropped off. And then the dispatcher will need a laptop to manage all the schedules and the system on a daily basis. Now, one of the things that we learned from our Columbus rollout is clinical support. We really, really need all of clinical support, DHS, ADHS, nurses to really embrace MOVI. Without their adoption of MOVI is not successful. MOVI cannot be successful. The reason for that is because nurses are the primary employees who are entering transportation requests. So, once we roll out MOVI, we really need to make sure that all nurses or anyone else who enters transportation requests are able to access MOVI and enter those requests. If not, we're going to miss appointments. If we still use paper or whatever form we currently use, it will be very, very hard for dentists and our TAs to keep track of those kind of one-off transportation requests. So, if we have any DHSs or ADHSs or clinical support on this call, please, please, please make sure that all your nurses understand what the new process is going to be with MOVI. We do have training coming up next week for anyone who enters transportation requests. So most of the time are your nurses. Also LEDs, because they will have to enter group outings into the MOVI schedule. So that way the system knows that the bus will be in use for, it's some type of transportation. And anyone else, some campuses have scheduler entering transportation appointments or a DHS, or anyone who needs to know how to use the system. So we have 2 trainings next week on Monday and Tuesday, and then also the following week on the 20th. These are all the same training. So this is just 3 options for people to be able to make it to that first training. Again, this is a required training for anyone entering transportation requests because the official rollout of MOVI will be on December. So what this means is that during the month of November, we will continue to request transportation as you guys do today. Now, any December appointments starting next week will need to be entered into MOVI. So your nurses, as they're getting these December appointments scheduled, if there's something for December, they will have to go into MOVI and enter it there. So that way, when in December 1st, when we are ready to roll out, dentists and the TAs already will have all December's appointments and schedules already in the system. TA and dispatcher trainings will occur at the end of November as we're getting closer to that rollout date, and we'll have those dates here soon. And then the other neat thing that actually is rolling out tomorrow in the Columbus and the Columbus market that we have is the single sign-on feature. So as you all know, nurses and a few other employees do not have Trilogy emails, and this was a little challenge that we had with that market. So the SSO login allows all these employees to be able to access MOVI without an email. So we are rolling that out tomorrow in the Columbus market. And as long as there's no hiccups through Friday, we are ready to do our trainings on Monday. So again, just a few other things that we are testing as we are, of course, rolling out MOVI for you guys. I mentioned already the outside transportation request. This is something that is available, but we did not try it in Columbus. So we're very excited to see how it works for Lafayette. Also, mileage tracking. As you all know, tracking the mileage for our buses for Medicaid reimbursement has been a bit of a challenge for those of you that have to complete those forms on a weekly basis. So we are really hoping that MOVI is able to provide that mileage tracking automatically, so that way we can move away from completing that key stats form to track mileage. So I'm sure those of you that have that weekly task are very excited about that. I'm very excited about it too. And also the last piece that we're also hoping to partner up with our business office is as well to see if we can use MOVI to streamline the billing process. So currently we use our Matrix Care transportation request form for business office to do their billing to residents. Again, we are hoping that we can streamline this process through MOVI. So again, there's not an additional form that anyone on the campus has to complete. So as we roll out this, hopefully we'll be able to put these pieces in motion as well. So really the next step that we have here is to make sure that everyone in your campus understands, what MOVI is, and that they're aware of the trainings coming up, mainly for those employees who are entering or are requesting transportation on a daily basis. So now I'm going to open it up for any questions you guys have. Again, this was a pretty short call. Questions, concerns? You can come on mute. You can put them in the chat. I think there's something in the chat right now. Erica asks, how do you want current appointments entered? Do you mean November appointments, Erica, or?
December. So I'm sure Dennis has current December appointments already on the Outlook. How do you want him to go about putting those in?
Okay, so yeah, so we do have a call next week with Dennis and the MOVI team, so we can address those. Depending how many we already have for December, we may be able to ask MOVI to enter them already. And if not, we may use them as practice during the training call. So just hold on until we have that conversation next week with MOVI. What about the satellite campuses? So the satellite campuses will use MOVI just like the cluster campuses. So everything that I'm saying will also be a rule for them. So for November, you guys will continue to use whatever system you currently are, but starting December, MOVI will be your transportation platform. Any other questions, comments, concerns? We already have several appointments for next year. Will we need to transfer all of those? Yes. So starting December, we will only use MOVI. So that's a good comment. I'll make sure that we reach out here in the next week or so to see where all your appointments are located and create a plan with MOVI to enter those into the platform. Correct. You will no longer use LifeLoop while we use MOVI. Any other questions? So I will send a wrap-up email after this call with the recording of this call in case anybody missed it or you want to replay it. I will also send the presentation I just sent in case you want to show it to anyone. And also a few other pieces for training material to get your employees ready for next week, just like the flyer I sent earlier this week with the training dates. But if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And again, on Monday, we'll have our first training. We're very, very excited.
Hey, Daniela, one thing. all of the LEDs that are on the call, please go over this tomorrow in stand up. If you need to go over it, what's today, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Monday, and Tuesday, just so that the same message is being heard by everybody as a reminder. This is required as a training, and this is definitely going to be an improvement for the satellite campuses, but I think Dennis is going to have less of a headache and maybe a few less gray hairs utilizing MOVI.
Thank you, Erica. Yeah, thank you for that support. Caitlin, you asked, when is MOVI going to be available in Keystats and TA phones? So what we had to do in the Columbus market, and we're working right now with IT, actually, for the Columbus market, we had to create, and somebody help me with the word, well, like the icon on the desktop, what is that called? When you pin a page. Anybody knows what I'm talking about? Shortcut, thank you. We had to create shortcuts on all the nurses' computers because they were not able to add it to Keystas. So IT is working currently to see if we can add it to Keystas to make it a little bit easier. But if not, that's what we'll have to do. In regards to the TA phones, it is not an app, it's a web-based app. So what that means is that it's a website that works as an app. So the TAs will have to access the website and same thing, do a shortcut or bookmark it on their phones for easy access. So we will send instructions on how to do that as well.
Daniela, do you need the drivers to come to the training sessions since they won't be putting anything in?
It's really up to what you guys think. A lot of the times we do rely on the dispatchers and the TAs and of course LEDs to retrain the nurses or anyone else entering doctor's appointments. If there's an issue with it or, if you have a new person, they don't know how to do it, it may be good for them to know how to do it so they can assist with entering some of those, orders if somebody has a question. So it's never a bad idea. But it really depends on your guys' campus. In Columbus, all TAs and dispatcher were trained on it, so they could do re-education as needed.
Okay. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
If somebody didn't.
Any other questions? All right, so I just expect an email from me today at some point. And again, if there's anything else that comes up before Monday, just let me know, and vice versa. If anything comes up on our end, we'll let you know as well. Thank you all for your time. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.